Heartwarming moment. Girl, 8, steps in for sick mom at job interview. What this millionaire CEO doesn't he expect? It was a morning like any other in the small Midwestern town of Maplewood. The sun peeked through the curtains, but there was chaos in the Johnson household. 8-year-old Lily stared at her mom, who was curled up on the couch, feverish and clutching her stomach. Today was the day her mother had been preparing for a big job interview at a prestigious corporation that could change their lives. The weight of their world rested on her shoulders. Lily's heart raced, but she didn't cry. Instead, she watched her mother struggle and realized she had to do something. Putting a tiny hand on her mom's shoulder, she took a deep breath and said, "Maybe I can go instead?" Her mother looked up bewildered, her eyes tired yet proud. "Oh honey, you're too little." But Lily was undeterred. She ran to the closet, pulling out her mother's stylish business attire. A crisp white blouse and a black pencil skirt. She slipped into the clothes, the fabric swirling around her like a cape. Lily could feel the power pulsing through her. She grabbed a pair of her mother's heels, almost toppling over. But with her heart pounding in her chest, she pushed the front door open and stepped out, ready to meet the world. Inside the intimidating headquarters of the corporation, cold air brushed against her cheeks. Lily felt small among adults in tailored suits, but she held her head high. The polished floors gleamed under bright lights, and the scent of coffee and impatience hung in the air. She approached the receptionist, her voice a soft whisper. "I'm here for my mom's interview." Time felt frozen as she awaited her turn. When she was ushered into the large conference room, she found herself face to face with Mr. Peterson, the $1 million CEO. His sleek hair and stern expression intimidated her for just a moment. But then she remembered her family, the strength her mom showed every day. Hello," she said, trying to stand tall. "I think my mom is super brave for coming here. She works hard." The tension in the room broke, and a ripple of laughter followed, catching the serious faces off guard. "Where is your mother?" the CEO finally asked, his brow raised. "She's sick, but I think she's strength matters more than a fancy job," Lily replied, her big eyes shimmering with innocence and wisdom. The room fell silent, everyone hanging on her words. Sometimes it's not about how rich you are, but how much love you have for your family. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. One by one, the executives began to speak, sharing their own stories of balancing family responsibilities and career aspirations. Lily watched as Mr. Peterson's eyes softened. He was beginning to see her, the little girl wrapped in her mother's clothes, bringing a truth that transcended their corporate world. Just then, the door swung open, and in walked Lily's mother, pale but fierce, ready to fight not just for her job, but for their family. Tension crackled in the air. Would Mr. Peterson embrace the understanding Lily had awakened or stick to the old ways? The moment hung in balance as Lily turned to her mother with a bright smile, unaware of the confrontation about to unfold. Lily's heart raced, the warmth spreading from her smile. She didn't know how this meeting would end, but she felt a surge of hope. Her mother, Jennifer, looked around the room, bewildered at the sight of her little girl standing proudly before a panel of executives. In that moment, the atmosphere shifted, as if the air was charged with unspoken words. "Lily, is that really you?" Jennifer's voice cracked, disbelief filling her eyes. She rushed forward, the world blurring around her as she wrapped her daughter in a tight embrace. Lily could feel the shiver of nervousness coursing through her mother, and she squeezed her tightly, wanting to share her strength. "Mom, I just told them how brave you are," Lily whispered, confidence blooming in her voice. "You can do this, I know you can." Mr. Peterson watched the two with a mixture of surprise and admiration. The executives shifted in their seats, clearly moved by the sight of the girl standing up for her mother. "This was unexpected," Peterson finally said, leaning forward with a thoughtful expression. "Lily, you have a gift for words. Your mother must be proud." Jennifer looked at her daughter, a mixture of pride and concern flooding her heart. She straightened, wiping away a tear before addressing the group. I'm so sorry for being late. I didn't expect Lily to come here today. I thought I wouldn't be able to make it. But you're here now, Lily intervened, her eyes sparkling. You're already winning. Suddenly, the tension in the room began to melt away. The executives smiled gently, as if they were being reminded of the simple joys they had lost in the corporate grind. As they began to discuss qualifications and experiences, Lily squeezed her mother's hand, grounding her in the moment. Jennifer took a deep breath, recalling how Lily's spirit had filled the air just moments ago. She spoke not just as a candidate, but as a mother fueled by love. I may not be perfect, but I am dedicated. I'll work tirelessly to provide for my family. Honestly, that's the kind of fire we need in this company, Mr. Peterson interjected, a glimmer of approval in his eyes. We value passion as much as qualifications. What drives you is important. Each word flowed like a wave of assurance as Jennifer shared her vision for combining work and family, showing her determination to make a difference. She looked to Lily, and they exchanged a smile, the kind that spoke volumes about trust and understanding. As the meeting progressed, the atmosphere shifted even more. Lily watched her mother come alive, words cascading as if all the worry had dissolved. Just when the executives seemed ready to make a decision, a ringing cell phone disrupted the flow of the conversation. Someone picked up the call, and the tension rebalanced once again. It was a stunning revelation. The executive's face went pale, and shock spread among the group. What do you mean there's been an incident at the plant? He asked, voice tightening. Lily's heart sank as the importance of the meeting was overshadowed by the unexpected news. She glanced at her mother, whose confident armor began to crack under the weight of uncertainty. How would this affect the outcome of their already complicated situation? In that moment, a new sense of urgency filled the air as chaos loomed just outside the door. Lily knew everything was about to change in a way no one expected. Lily's heart pounded as she watched the executives' faces shift from curiosity to concern. The room, once alive with the possibility of her mother's success, now felt like a storm cloud hovering overhead. The ringing phone continued, a relentless reminder of something much larger than this meeting. Jennifer's brow furrowed, the confidence she had just built now flickering like a candle in a windstorm. What is happening? She asked, her voice barely containing the tremor of fear. The executive who answered the phone, Mr. Thompson, motioned for silence like he was trying to calm a wild beast. Yes, I understand, he said slowly, ears straining to catch details that had been shared. Lines formed around his mouth as he took in the gravity of the situation. We'll need to assess this right away. He snapped the phone shut and exhaled sharply. What is it? Lily didn't mean to interrupt, but her small voice felt like an anchor in the growing storm. They're saying there's been an explosion at the plant, Mr. Thompson replied, his tone somber. The emergency response team has been dispatched. We don't know how bad it is yet, but... A wave of panic washed over Jennifer. My friends, my coworkers, she struggled to process the implications, her thoughts racing like a runaway train. This wasn't just a professional setback. It felt personal, like an unseen hand was tugging at her heartstrings. Lily glanced around the room, sensing the tension shift once more. The executives were huddled together, whispering now, their earlier joviality gone. The reality of the incident pressed down on everyone like a weight, filling the air with an uneasy silence. Mom, what do we do? Lily's voice was firm. She instinctively reached for her mother's hand, trying to steady both their fears. You have to be strong. Jennifer looked at her daughter, whose small fingers gripped her tightly. In that moment, she realized that Lily was showing her bravery right back. The world outside the meeting room was chaotic, but inside this space, there was still a flicker of hope waiting to be kindled. I have to help. I can't just leave people in need. Mr. Peterson shifted in his seat, gaining Jennifer's attention. If we're going to support the plant, we should form a strategy now. We need to gather as much information as we can. What about my interview? Jennifer asked softly, feeling the walls of pressure closing in on her. That's not what matters right now, Mr. Peterson replied, his tone resolute. Lives are at stake, and we need your leadership more than ever. We can schedule a follow-up when things settle down. The words sank in slowly. Jennifer's heart swelled. Yes, they were at the brink of disaster, but there was still a chance to make a difference. She nodded, determination replacing uncertainty. Okay, then let us get to work. The executives rallied, buzzing with renewed purpose. Jennifer felt the fear ebb away, replaced by a sense of community. They closed ranks, discussing logistics and priorities, each word building a plan of action. Moments later, a sharp rapping at the door interrupted them. The CEO burst in, his face gray, and the energy shifted dramatically. I just got news, he said, voice grave. We need everyone in the field. They're calling for volunteers to assist at the site. Lily's heart raced again. But this time it was equal parts fear and pride. Her mother was ready to step into the storm. But what lay ahead was unknown. Would Jennifer come back to her? In that charged moment, Lily's resolve solidified. Mom, I'll be right here waiting for you. Jennifer turned to her daughter, a fleeting smile of reassurance flickering across her face even as her eyes brimmed with unshed tears. And I'll be right back, I promise. As Jennifer hurried toward the door, ready to face the chaos outside, a lingering question hung in the air. What consequences awaited them both on the other side of this tumultuous situation? Lily held her breath, heart racing, knowing that everything was about to change once again. Lily stood frozen in the meeting room, the world around her blurring. She watched her mother slip out through the door, resolute yet vulnerable, swallowed into the uncertainty of what lay ahead. The buzz of conversation faded. In its place, a heavy silence wrapped around her, isolating her from the frantic energy of the remaining executives. Lily? Mr. Thompson's voice cut through her daze. He approached gently, kneeling to her level. You okay? She nodded but felt like the words were stuck in her throat. What was okay? Was it normal for everything to feel so wildly out of control? Your mom is strong, he said, trying to offer comfort. She'll help those people. She's a good leader. His words were meant to reassure her, but they only deepened the pit in her stomach. She had always admired her mother for her strength, but this was different. This was life and death. The door creaked open again, bringing in a wave of hurried footsteps as more executives filled the room, their arms laden with clipboards and urgent expressions. They talked over each other, details of emergency protocols, which team would head to the site, who would stay back to gather information. It felt like they were moving seashells around on a beach while a tsunami approached. Lily, come here. A familiar voice broke through the chaos. It was Sarah, one of her mom's colleagues, rushing toward her. Her eyes were wide with concern. I know this is a lot, but I need you to help me with something important. Before Lily could respond, Sarah took her hand and pulled her beside a table cluttered with maps and reports, the colors and lines dancing under the fluorescent lights. We're going to need you to help keep track of things. Think of it as a puzzle we're solving together. Lily swallowed hard. Could she really help? Fears tugged at her heart, but she couldn't shake the feeling that doing something might ease the tightness in her chest. Okay, she said, her voice trembling but firm. That's the spirit. Sarah encouraged, her smile breaking through the grim tones. Let us start by making a list of who we know is at the site. We can prepare notes so we'll have all the info ready. Time blurred as they worked together, the world outside flashing images of chaos and urgency. Lily's mind raced with the names of her mom's coworkers, piecing them together like a jigsaw. It was hard to focus. The worry for her mother was a constant dull ache, but Sarah's steady presence kept bringing her back to the task. Suddenly, a loud crackle sounded from a nearby radio. This just in. The emergency team is discovering multiple injuries. The voice was clipped and serious, and each word felt like a stone dropping into Lily's heart. Lily. Sarah's urgency pierced through. I need you to stay with me. Focus. Just focus. Tears pricked at the corners of Lily's eyes as she watched the adults scramble, but she forced them back. She took a deep breath, reminding herself of her mother's promise. I'll be right back. Her little hands gripped the pencil tighter, steadying herself as she wrote down the names. With each name she felt a flicker of hope. Keep going, we're making progress, Sarah encouraged, looking at her with admiration. As the minutes turned into what felt like hours, Lily realized that being part of this could mean something. But what if the time stretched too far? What if her mom didn't come back? Just then the door swung open again. A figure stood there, silhouetted in the bright hallway light. The room fell silent, every eye on the doorway, including Lily's. Could it be? Her heart thundered again, nerves dancing. Was it her mother, back from the storm? Or another soul returning with more news of dread? Lily leaned forward, breath hitching in her throat. What came next would change everything. The silhouette stepped forward, breaking free from the harsh light. Lily held her breath, eyes wide with anticipation. It wasn't just anyone, it was her mother. Her face streaked with exhaustion but shining with a fierce familiarity. "Mom!" The word burst from Lily's lips before she could stop herself. The room was still, but inside Lily, energy surged like a forgotten river rushing back to life. Her mother glanced around the room, taking in the frantic adults before her eyes fell on Lily. The tension in her expression softened, and for a brief moment, the chaos melted. "Lily, sweetie." The warmth in her mother's voice was the anchor Lily needed. "I'm so sorry I left so quickly." Lily's heart raced with relief and something else. A laser-focused realization of the weight her mother carried crept in. "Are you okay? Did you help them?" "I did. We're still working on it," her mother replied. "Things are intense, but I'm okay." Lily scanned her mother's face, searching for cracks behind her steady demeanor. She noticed smudges on her cheeks, remnants of dust after a long ordeal. "I want to help," she said, determination brightening her eyes. She stepped forward, pencil still clutched in her small hand, ready to take notes, ready to support the woman who had always been her rock. "Are you sure, darling?" her mother asked, a mixture of pride and concern flaring in her voice. "Yes. I've been writing things down," Lily explained, her voice rising with excitement as she turned to Sarah. "We can help each other." Sarah nodded, a smile spreading across her face as she observed this small, brave girl. "That's right. We can use all the hands we can get." The adults in the room gradually broke into motion again, redirecting their attention to the task ahead. With renewed energy, they formed a circle around the table. Lily's mother took a firm place beside her, their shoulders brushing, an unspoken solidarity radiating between them. "Okay, everyone, let us regroup," her mother's authoritative tone cut through the noise, and Lily felt the room shift. It was like watching the tide pull together, every voice finding harmony. Each member of the team shared their notes, their findings, their fears resurfacing as they pooled together information as they worked. The radio continued to crackle, snippets of updates filtering through that seemed miles away from this small inner circle. Yet, within this space, Lily found comfort amid the storm. Hours slipped by, each moment blending into the next, until finally, Lily felt exhaustion seep into her bones. They had made progress collecting names, situating resources, and planning next steps. But even as things moved forward, an undercurrent of worry clung to her. "Mom," Lily said softly during a brief pause in their work, her voice barely above a whisper. What if it's not enough?" Her mother knelt down to meet Lily's gaze, the fear radiating in her daughter's eyes striking a chord within her. "Sometimes, love, we do everything we can and still can't fix it all. But that doesn't mean we stop trying." Lily absorbed her mother's words, feeling their weight. In that moment she realized it was okay to feel afraid. It was okay to hope. And in this shared mission, even the smallest actions could create ripples beyond what she could imagine. Suddenly, the radio crackled again, and the voice that followed changed the complexion of the room's energy. "We have news, a larger situation has developed." Every heart in the room stopped, eyes flicking towards the device, dread pooling in the pit of Lily's stomach. What now? What would they face next? Clutching her mother's hand tighter, Lily braced herself for the news, knowing one thing for sure: it would change everything again. The radio crackled again, a voice slicing through the silence like a knife. "We are receiving reports of escalating events in the area. Evacuations are intensifying. Stay tuned for further updates." A chill ran down Lily's spine. Evacuations? That didn't sound good at all. Her heart raced in her chest. She glanced at her mother, whose face had paled slightly, the wear of the day setting in. The reassurance that had filled the room moments ago seemed to evaporate like mist in the morning sun. "Lily," her mother said softly, pulling her close, "I need you to promise me something." "Anything, Mom," Lily replied, her voice steady, though her stomach twisted anxiously. "Stay close to Sarah. Follow her lead. And if anything gets too overwhelming," her mother hesitated, finding the right words, "you come to me. Okay? We'll face this together." "I promise," Lily said, clutching her mother's hand tighter. It felt like an anchor amidst the growing storm. As the radio continued to drone on, The room buzzed with hushed voices, and the adults turned back to their planning. They scribbled notes and sketched out maps, plotting routes and gathering essential supplies. Lily watched, her pencil tapping against her notepad, soaking in every moment of urgency and determination surrounding her. "Lily, can you help me with this?" Sarah called, breaking Lily's concentration. Of course. She hurried over, eager to assist. Sarah handed her a marker and pointed to a large whiteboard cluttered with hastily written notes. Together, they began jotting down everything they knew about families needing help. With every name they wrote, Lily felt a wave of purpose wash over her. She was doing something important, something real. "Okay, now we need to distribute these supplies," Sarah said, urgency edging into her tone as they marked a name on the board. Lily's mind raced in tandem with the ticking clock. "What about food? We should write a list of food we could gather too. People will need it." Her excitement bubbled over, the thrill of being actively involved in something so crucial pushing aside her fears. "That's a great idea." Sarah beamed, and together they crafted lists, their ideas sparking a fervent energy around the room. The adults glanced over, some offering nods of approval, as if they were silently acknowledging the invaluable contributions of the younger generation. But just as momentum built, the radio interrupted once again, a grim seriousness lacing the broadcaster's tone. "Chaos has erupted in the east. Authorities are urging everyone to stay indoors. Please remain calm and stay tuned." A powerful wave of anxiety flooded the room. The adults' faces turned grave. A sudden realization hit Lily. This was real, and it was happening right outside a world she thought she understood, shattered by fear. "Mom," she whispered, her voice quivering. Her mother was swiftly moving, organizing patches of information, eyes narrowed with fierce resolve. But she could sense the storm brewing in her daughter's heart. "We are going to do everything we can, sweet girl. Just hold on tight." Lily nodded, though doubt clung to her chest like a heavy weight. She wasn't just a little girl anymore. She was part of this fight. They resumed their tasks, but uncertainty hung like a cloud overhead. As the adults continued to strategize, Lily leaned into the moment, her heart pounding louder with every tick of the clock. Then, as the radio blared another update, a loud crash echoed outside, followed by chaos. Hearts froze once more. "What was that?" Lily gasped, eyes wide as they turned toward the door, collectively holding their breaths. In that instant, a wave of dread washed over her. What was really happening out there? And what would they face next? The crash jolted everyone into action. The adults snapped their heads toward the door, eyes filled with alarm. Lily's heart raced. The world outside felt like a distant nightmare creeping into their sanctuary. "Stay close," her mother urged, her voice steady but taut. Lily felt the warmth of her hand, solid and unyielding, grounding her even as panic stirred in the corners of her mind. "Sarah," her mother called, her attention shifting to the older girl. "Can you take Lily to the basement? It might be safer down there until we know what's happening." Lily's stomach churned. "No, Mom. I want to help. I can stay and help you." Her mother's expression softened, but determination remained. "I know, sweetheart, but we need to be smart. It's just until we figure this out. Trust me." "Okay," Lily replied, though the protest clinging to her voice betrayed her fear. "Let us go," Sarah said, taking Lily's hand, a reassuring squeeze passing between them. They moved quickly toward the basement door. The murmur of the adults faded as they descended the stairs, and when the echoing thud of the door above cut them off from the chaos, it was as if they had slipped into another world. The scent of damp earth and cold concrete enveloped them. "Do you think they'll be all right?" Lily asked, glancing back at the closed door. "Of course they will," Sarah said, her voice strong. "They're working together. It's what we all have to do right now." Lily sat on a cold concrete step and hugged her knees to her chest. Chills crept in. "But what if," Sarah said softly. "No what ifs right now. Let us keep ourselves busy. We can make a plan of our own." Lily nodded, trying to suppress her fear. "What kind of plan?" "Let's make sure we're prepared if we need to help anyone else." Sarah immediately turned into organizer mode, filling the space with ideas. With Jennifer's leadership in mind, the two girls began brainstorming supplies and food they could gather if the need arose. The basement felt both frightening and safe, their whispered conversations echoing off walls lined with old crates and tools. Lily found herself relaxing a bit. the adrenaline of fear mixing with the determination nurtured by their collaboration. As they scrawled a makeshift plan on torn pieces of paper, something shifted within her. What if we create a system? Lily suggested bravely. Like a relay. If someone needs help, we can all work together to bring them supplies. Sarah's eyes sparkled with approval. That's brilliant. You're a natural leader. Lily felt a warmth bloom in her chest. Really? Totally. Just then the door rattled above them, pulling them to stillness. Heavy footsteps echoed on the stairs, drowning out the unsettling buzz of the radio. Is that? Lily whispered, dread tightening her throat. Maybe it's Mom? Or someone from the group? Sarah suggested, though her voice held uncertainty as they exchanged glances. The realization hit. They weren't just connected to each other. They were a part of something larger now. Together, if they worked as a team, they could face the unknown ahead. The footsteps grew louder, and sunlight spilled through the door as it creaked open. Shadows began to form but were momentarily obscured by blinding light. Just then, the silhouette of a figure appeared. Lily! Sarah! Came the urgent voice, but it was a stranger's tone. One Lily didn't recognize. Lily's heart raced again, this time with fear. Whatever they were preparing for was breaking into their refuge, and the question that loomed was, who was stepping into their lives now? Lily felt her breath hitch as she stared at the shadowed figure. The voice was urgent, carrying a weight she couldn't shake. Fear surged through her, gripping her heart tight. Who are you? Sarah asked, her voice thin and strained, mirroring the tension in the basement. Stepping into the light revealed a tall man wearing a worn brown jacket, his expression serious yet soft. I'm here to help, he said, his eyes scanning their faces, picking up on their fear. Lily remained perched on the concrete step, arms wrapped around her knees. Help with what? Who sent you? She pressed, glancing at Sarah for support. Easy there, the man replied, raising his hands, palms outward. I'm Tom. I was with your mom when the crash happened. She sent me to check on you too. Her mother was nearby? Relief tugged at Lily's fears, but 100 questions collided in her mind. Is she okay? She's worried about you, Tom said, his voice steadying. There was some chaos, but she's safe. Promise. I want to see her, Lily insisted, biting her lip to hold back the tears threatening to spill. Thomas' gaze softened. I understand, but right now it's safer to stay down here for a little longer. We need to be cautious until we know what's going on outside. The air felt thick with uncertainty. Sarah squeezed Lily's hand, urging her to stay calm. Do you think it's really safe? She asked Tom. What about everyone upstairs? The adults are working hard to control the situation. Tom assured them, his tone gentle but firm. I wouldn't be here if I thought things were dire. Just keep your heads down for now. Tom moved closer, lingering near the basement stairs. His stature imposing yet somehow comforting. How about you tell me your plan? I overheard you two talking earlier. Lily blinked, taken aback. Our plan? Yeah, you had some great ideas, he encouraged. If we're going to help others, we need to know what we'll do. That shifted something inside Lily. Turning to Sarah, they shared a flicker of understanding, a moment where they could channel their fears into action. Oh right, Sarah exclaimed. We were going to gather food and supplies to help, Lily added, her voice stronger now. If anyone needs it, we can work together. Tom nodded, a smile creeping onto his face. Perfect. That's what it takes, teamwork. And maybe we can prepare things while we wait. They began to talk more to Tom, filling in gaps, discussing which items needed gathering and deciding on a list. The basement, once stifling with tension, began to buzz with purpose. Suddenly, the sound of rapid footsteps clattered above them, and an unsettling crash struck the air. Tom halted mid-sentence, his face hardening with concern. Stay here, he ordered sharply, and before they could respond, he swiftly ascended the stairs, leaving them alone in the tense silence. Lily's heart raced again, uncertainty swirling around them. What was that? She whispered, gripping Sarah's hand tightly. I don't know, Sarah replied, her voice shaky. But I don't like it. The weight stretched out painfully as they listened for any sign of safety, the adrenaline humming in the air. Then, before they could even dare hope, they heard voices, not from Tom's reassuring tone, but deeper, harsher. Get down. Move now. One of the voices shouted, slicing through the quiet. Their eyes widened in horror. Clenching her fingers, Lily felt a pit of dread churn in her stomach. Who were those people? What danger loomed just beyond the door? Lily and Sarah exchanged a look, the seriousness of the situation crashing around them. They were on the brink of something larger than themselves, and the only question that remained was how they would navigate through it. Lily held her breath as the voices swelled above them, each command an insistent echo in her mind. "What do we do?" she whispered, feeling the fear grip tighter. Sarah's wide eyes darted around the dimly lit basement, scrambling to make sense of a chaos that felt too big for them. "We can't just sit here," she said, her voice trembling but determined. What if they're looking for us? Maybe they are," Lily admitted. Her mind raced, searching for something they could use, some reason for hope. But Tom said to stay put. The floor creaked above them, and another loud crash sent a shiver down Lily's spine. She felt the adrenaline surge through her, pushing her feet to the ground. "We can't just wait to find out," she resolved, her eyes meeting Sarah's. "We have to do something." "Like what?" Sarah urged, her grip on Lily's hand tightening. "I don't know, think," Lily urged, her heart pounding so hard she felt the beat in her ears. They had to find a way to protect themselves, to find out what was truly happening. Her gaze landed on an old toolbox pushed against the wall, dusty and forgotten. "We could grab something from there," she said, pointing. "Maybe there's a flashlight or something we can use." "Okay, but quiet," Sarah replied, her breath coming fast as they both crouched low. Every noise upstairs felt amplified, a reminder of the danger lurking just above them. Careful not to make a sound, they crawled toward the toolbox, hearts racing with each step. The toolbox felt heavy in Lily's small hands as she opened it, rusted hinges creaking like whispers from a forgotten world. Inside, scattered among old tools and screws, she found a flashlight. Relief flooded her. It might give them a chance to see in the darkness. "Got it," she whispered, holding it up for Sarah to see. But then a loud thump echoed from above that made them both freeze. What was that? The question slid out of Sarah's mouth, her voice barely above a whisper. "It doesn't matter," Lily whispered back, forcing confidence into her voice. "We need to be ready." They clutched the flashlight like it was a lifeline. Sarah flicked it on, illuminating their small corner of the basement with a beam of light. They exchanged a glance, nodding in unison, a silent agreement that they would not be victims from above. The voices grew louder, chaotic shouts mixed with desperate pleas. Lily's heart ached at the thought of her mother, alone somewhere in the confusion. "Tom has to be okay," she reminded herself, forcing the thought into her mind like a mantra. Then the cellar door swung open. The beam of light flooded the basement narrowly, illuminating the chaos above, and neither girl dared to breathe. Tom appeared in the doorway, breathless and wide-eyed. "Get back! Stay hidden!" he yelled, urgency laced in his tone. Lily's heart sank as the reality of their situation settled in. Tom was here, but fear haunted his face, and it was a fear that sent a chill down her spine. Without a second thought, she grabbed Sarah and pulled her behind the toolbox, chest tight with anxiety. "What is happening?" Lily whispered, finding herself shaking. "I don't know, but it's bad," Tom replied, but his voice was steady. "Listen closely. We need to find a way out, and we need to do it quietly. Can you both do that?" "Yes," Sarah nodded fiercely, her eyes bright with determination. "Just follow my lead." As the voices continued to yell above, tension thickened in the air. Outside, chaos swirled just beyond their reach. But they had hope now, tiny flickers igniting amidst the fear. Then Tom's eyes flickered to the flashlight in Lily's hand. "Good thinking," he said quietly, a hint of pride washing over him momentarily. "We'll need it." Lily's heart soared at that, the weight of hopelessness momentarily lifting. They were in this fight together, and together they would find their way out. The basement felt different now, less like a prison and more like a beacon of possibilities. But just as Tom was about to lead them further, the distant sound of shouting escalated. "We have to move," he urged, eyes darting around. Lily's heart hammered against her rib cage. They were stepping into the unknown. What awaited them outside the basement's confines? "Can you hear it?" she whispered to Sarah, panic seeping into her voice. "I can," Sarah said, her face resolute. Before the next decision was made, the noise of footsteps grew heavier, more rapid. Seconds stretched out, tense with anticipation, and Lily felt the world tipping towards something monumental. What would they face when they emerged from their hiding place? And could they handle the reality that awaited them? Tom gestured for them to stand, and with their hearts pounding like drums, they followed every measured step he took toward the basement stairs. Each crack in the wooden steps felt like thunder, echoing through the waiting silence. Together they reached the door, standing pressed against the cool wall with their breath caught tight in their throats. "Stay quiet and keep close," Tom whispered, his voice low yet firm. He pushed the door slightly, peering into the chaotic world beyond. The noise came in like a wave, voices shouting, urgency palpable like a storm brewing. Lily felt Sarah squeeze her hand harder, both girls holding onto each other, their draws of courage intertwining. Then Tom nodded and they stepped through the doorway. The scene that met their eyes was a whirlwind. People moving rapidly, confusion hanging over them like a heavy fog. "Stay behind me," Tom instructed again, guiding them carefully into the tumult. The air felt thick, charged with uncertainty and fear, yet it drummed with purpose. Despite their small size, Lily felt the warmth of hope beginning to flicker inside her. "Mom!" She dared to call out, her voice almost swallowed by the chaos, but it was enough to break through a sliver of silence. Tom stopped and focused his gaze, scanning the crowds frantically. "Keep looking," Sarah urged, determination etched on her young face. "We have to find her." As they moved through the crowd, dodging hurriedly passing figures, a figure stepped forward from the movement. It was her mother, exhausted but resolute, helmet on her head, looking fierce like a warrior. "Lily!" Jennifer's voice carried like a beacon. In an instant Lily's heart soared. She dashed forward, crashing into her mother's embrace. The warmth wrapped around her like a shield, as if every worry could dissolve in that moment. "Oh, my sweet girl, I was so worried," Jennifer exclaimed, her voice trembling. "You're okay. You're all right," Lily said, her joy bubbling over, mixing with relief. "Of course I am. But we have to focus." "There's a lot to do," Jennifer replied, her eyes shining with both fear and determination. Together, Lily asserted, feeling her mother's strength merge with her own. With renewed spirit they united as a team. Tom led the charge and Jennifer's leadership emerged, a guiding light amidst turmoil. "There's been damage at the east side of the plant," Tom informed them. "We need volunteers to help assist people evacuated from affected areas. Can you manage to lead some of them to safety?" "Absolutely," Jennifer asserted, rallying strength into her voice. They moved as one unit, Lily, her mother, Tom and Sarah, channeling the energy of urgency into purposeful actions. Together, they offered assurance to frightened faces, distributing supplies, guiding families to safety. "Hold on tight," Lily said to a little boy whose eyes mirrored her own fear, pulling him gently along with her mother's hand strong at the forefront. As they traversed through the chaos, the foundation of that earlier danger began to shift into something unimaginable. Hope, community, unity. At one point amid the frenzy, Lily spotted a familiar face in the crowd. It was Sarah's dad, desperately searching with worry etched on his face. "Over here," Lily shouted, waving her small arms to catch his attention. The joy and relief in his eyes when he spotted Sarah made Lily's heart swell. Feeling momentum growing within their group, Lily hugged Sarah and said, "We're doing it. We're actually helping." "Yes, together," Sarah exclaimed, a bright smile illuminating her face. As they moved onward, landmarks of chaos transformed into symbols of strength. Strangers became neighbors, bonded in shared experience as they fought for each other's safety. Eventually, they reached the outskirts where volunteers formed a human chain, passing resources hand to hand like a lifeline. Each connection pulsed with electricity, positivity filling the air like tangible warmth. "Everyone's coming together," Lily shouted, her heart swelling with pride. That moment, they stood shoulder to shoulder at a makeshift shelter, eyes wide with a shared understanding they had turned a moment of fear into a celebration of humanity. Each small act of kindness radiated outward, and in the flickering lights of hope, vulnerability transformed into resilience. When the sun began to set, painting the sky in vibrant hues of orange and purple, Lily looked up to find her mother watching her, a radiant smile on her face, a reflection of the bond they had forged amidst the chaos. In that instant, Lily understood the world was big and unpredictable, but love always found a way to navigate the storms. Mom, we really did this together, Lily said, feeling the joy well up inside her. Yes, darling, Jennifer replied, pulling Lily into a side hug as they overlooked the scene of healed relationships and hopeful beginnings. We discovered the greatest strength comes from caring and working together. The weight of the day hung in the air, but it didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt like possibility where love thrived and lives intertwined, casting a radiant light across their small world. Let us keep helping, Lily urged with fierce determination. Always, my love, Jennifer replied, her eyes shimmering with love and pride as evening settled. A grateful sense of peace enveloped them, binding their hearts as they stepped together into a hopeful future. Remember, as this story of transformation closes, you need to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep us going strong. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this inspiring journey. And you must share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this uplifting message. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support.